given the outlook for some teams in 2024, and given that the college football playoff is going to have 12 teams for the first time, and given that name, image, and likeness is now a part of the athletic department budget, to say nothing of how House versus the NCAA settlement is going to affect how you're paying players, including those in the Title IX sports, I don't think that we've ever seen a more pivotal year for some programs that have not crossed the threshold into we make money and we win a bunch of football games. I'm talking 10 wins or more. We'll make a New Year's Six Bowl every other year or so, it seems. I'm talking about programs that want to get to where Oklahoma, Ohio State, Georgia, Texas, Washington, Oregon, those sorts of programs have gotten to. Michigan gets in there. There's a handful more. But I'm looking around and I'm asking who can make the leap this year into something that looks like sustainability into the future. On that list are programs like Oklahoma State. Really want to be good, has a really great alumni base, and is willing to try to do the hard work of raising the money that is going to be necessary to win. Same is true of Memphis. The same is true of Nebraska. These are programs that I believe have a fan base that really wants to win more than some others might want to win. And I say that because when the offering plate goes around, I'm always taking a look at who's just putting money into the plate and who's going, do I really want to pay for this? The folks that don't hesitate usually go get W's and will come out on top. Arkansas foots the bill for me on that. And they've done it over and over again, with the loudest signals being their coaching hires. Going to get John Calipari from Kentucky is something you do only if you want Arkansas men's basketball to be great. And it wasn't cheap to go do. I realized that Calipari was probably on his way out of Kentucky, probably had worn out his welcome, and needed to go somewhere. But somewhere is not necessarily Arkansas. Arkansas made that happen. And I preface that by saying Sam Pittman is going into a really important year for himself and a really important year for Arkansas Razorbacks football. And it is no secret that I like me some Sam Pittman. I like me some Arkansas. They're neighbors to me. It's a really cool football program because everybody over there is pulling the same direction. There's only one team in the state that is the pro team. It's Arkansas. And I really like college football when Arkansas and Nebraska are good, because those are two fan bases that absolutely know how to act when they got a ranking next to their name. And that is what Arkansas is chasing this year. But it's a haul, man. A, you're playing in the SEC, which is the toughest league in the sport. And B, you're doing it from a position of not anything looking like strength. I mean, Arkansas is picked 14th out of 16th in the SEC, right? We're talking about a program that also had a glimpse of what it was capable of when Pitman first got there. Like his first 2 years, you had your build-up year. COVID-19 shortened 2020. That was going to be a rough season anyway because that schedule was ridiculous. And then you go 9-4 in 2021 in a year that most people don't expect you to be good. You come back in 2022 with 7-6, and then disappointment last year. You go 4-8. You 1-7 in the SEC. Pitman has said, look, I think we can be a good football team this year. I think we can absolutely turn this around. And he's hired Bobby Petrino, who was once a head coach at Arkansas, and embarrassed himself and the program in the way that he had to leave at the end. But we're talking about flirting with Chad Morris numbers over here, and that's not fun. That's not fun. So you go get Bobby Petrino. He goes to get Taylon Green. You're going to keep Travis Williams, ask him to not run so much cover zero, and perhaps be more multiple on defense so you can match up against almost everything you see. But there's been a couple of things that have rung out from Arkansas's preseason camp that I think are interesting and really going to set the table for what they are hoping to accomplish this year. And we're going to get to see the fruits of that labor this weekend, but really when they play Oklahoma State, that's going to be a measuring stick for them. Oklahoma State is a top 25 team. They played the number 1 team in the FCS to start this season. I don't know who put that on their schedule, but I wouldn't want that on my schedule going into this first year of the 12-team playoff in the new Big 12 either. However, I think when you're looking at being ranked just ahead of Mississippi State and Vanderbilt, you got to play poker looking to take the pot, man. You can't afford to sit back. You got to try to get out in front and do what you can to get an advantage. And I think the only thing that Arkansas has done that has led me to thinking, oh, this is them absolutely gambling, they started hitting in preseason. Matter of fact, the quote that I think is important. Let me go at it this way. Landon Jackson is the best defensive player at Arkansas for me. Okay? 6'7", absolute motor, gets off the ball. He's pretty outstanding as a pass rusher. And one of the things that he had said was that he saw the problem in the last couple of years as being they didn't hit enough in early camp. He said, there's been a problem that I've noticed from the last 2 years. First weeks, our tackling is poor. We just don't go to ground. But now they're going to ground. They are hitting. A lot of people might say, oh, the players will get injured. At the end of the day, it's the game we signed up for. I'd rather that risk than us lose football game. That's where he's at. And I think that is where many Arkansas players are at. I know that's where many fans are at. Whatever it's going to take to win football games, the problem with that is obvious. Yeah, I know that you don't think that the injury risk is that big a deal, and you acknowledge that it is a risk if you're Landon Jackson. But if you're playing this many games and you are guaranteed to play at least 17 if you're going to play for the national championship January 20th, you kick off the season on August 31st. You started hitting a couple weeks before that, and you got to make this last at least through basically November before you get a break. I mean, you get bye weeks, right? But then you got to try to do this again in December, and we're talking about depth is what we're talking about. We're talking about, are you going to get to halfway point in the season and not have enough guys to be able to rotate in on defense, to say nothing of the offense and what you're going to ask that offensive line to do, because that's also where I'm looking. Who's got continuity there? Who's got depth there? There's just a lot for Arkansas to show, but I do applaud this move because Sam Pittman has done everything he can to try to win Arkansas games. It's a man that doesn't really talk about the money because at this point, he would feel about it the way he feels about it the way I feel about it, which is once you start making seven figures, money is irrelevant. It's winning. That's it. Like, money's keeping score. He's set up. He's going to be okay no matter what happens. So why not sell out and try to go win as many football games as possible, and at a program that frankly gave him his first opportunity to be a head coach that in 30 years. And he was as emotional about it as any football coach I've ever seen. That man's from Grove, Oklahoma. He didn't grow up in Arkansas, but Arkansas gave him the shot. And he has done everything he can to try to go win them football games, even as many Arkansas fans are like, I don't really care. I don't know the Sam is going to be here next year. Maybe it'll be Bobby Petrino. Maybe we'll find out that Sam Pittman is actually a great football coach. I'm going, man, I know all that stuff. But I also recognize it's a results business, man. That's it. Nobody argues about how you go get those results. Even if you cheat like Michigan, people argue about it. But the point is, if you go win, your fan base will not argue about how you went to go win. Not really, man. They want to win. And it's cheating when you get caught. It's not cheating when you don't. I don't think that Arkansas needs to do any of that, but I'm really fascinated by this conversation around fairness and morality in the sport, because the integrity of the sport is at the top of the list of things that you need to be talking through and respecting. I also don't think we give the kids the benefit of the doubt here. I think the kids have a tremendous amount of integrity. I think at times the kids are more ethical than fans and coaches. I think that you look at that Arkansas football team and you see guys like Landon Jackson. You see guys that absolutely want to be about their Razorback football, and you got a chance, right? Because this is the same program that produced Matt Jones, Darren McFadden, Felix Jones. That's just during the years for which I was in school. There's more. I really want this program to be good. I really want Arkansas to figure it out. But the problem with that is the schedule, and the problem with that is how many of those games that you can expect to go fight and absolutely win. It's just not you're just gonna have to be better than we think you are, which is not impossible. Certainly not impossible. But the Razorbacks have posted multiple wins over ranked opponents in the same year, just twice, 2021, 2022, since Pitman took over. And you're going to have to do that this year for anybody anywhere to believe that Arkansas football has a chance to be great this year. And my goodness, do I want Arkansas football to be